So I want to make a video just discussing how we got to this point in time, so on and so forth, why Donald Trump is now president. And I mean, there's blame to go around, but it's to first the blame goes to the corporate media, MSNBC and CNN, the Democratic establishment and the corporate Democrats, and Hillary Clinton and just her general corruption. But it all starts out during the primary, which was rigged. It was rigged for Hillary Clinton, and the deck was stacked in her favor by superdelegates, and the corporate media worked overtime to demoralize Bernie Sanders supporter as a way to help Hillary. I mean, I remember the entire election, the primary, so on and so forth, and like all the strategies that were implemented into doing all of that, to suppressing Bernie Sanders' populist movement, because guess what? A populist movement isn't too favorable to corporate control. And that's just a reality. Hillary Clinton was very favorable to corporate control. That's why corporations like Comcast and Time Warner backed her so heavily. If you don't know, Comcast owns MSNBC and Time Warner owns CNN. But the media deployed a lot of strategies and actually demoralizing Bernie Sanders supporters. I mean, when Bernie Sanders first came on the scene, they never talked about him. But he started gaining more and more momentum, and it ended up just, he started gaining more and more momentum, and he started just having huge rallies, like 15,000 people, 18,000 people, 20,000 people. And so these started just becoming stories, like this freaking socialist Jew is having rallies with like 20,000 people. How can we not cover it? And then after he started gaining more momentum, the freaking way the media presented him, and I watched this the entire time, was Bernie Sanders is having this sort of rally, so on and so forth. He's gaining a lot of support. It's funny because back in 2008, when Hillary Clinton ran against Obama made Hillary Clinton a better candidate. So how is Bernie Sanders going to make Hillary Clinton a better candidate? So whenever they would talk about Bernie, it would be in relation to Hillary Clinton, and they never covered any of his rallies. They would cover Trump all day, but Bernie Sanders, I mean, you can look at the statistics. Bernie Sanders got like an 18th of the time that Donald Trump did, and Hillary Clinton got at least like 5 times more than Bernie did, but it's pretty clear how the media was presenting it. The media was presenting it as if Hillary Clinton was an inevitability and Bernie Sanders was just a sideshow. And that's how they distracted away from what he was actually doing in the movement they was trying to create. On top of that, they never mentioned his policies. They never talked about his policies. They may have talked about how Bernie Sanders might bring Hillary Clinton to the left, but never did they actually talk about like what they were. Like they didn't talk about how he wanted to break up Wall Street, so on and so forth, who got away with robbing us, or how he wanted tuition-free community college so people could actually find a way to get out of poverty by bettering themselves for free and thus creating a better society because we have a more educated society. They never talked about that. For months on top of months on top of months, they didn't talk about it. But once it started getting to Iowa, and after the first states voted, then they kind of had to like start talking about his issue because he won the first 2 states, and so it just continued. And the other thing is, I remember freaking Steve Kornacki. You could probably look this up. He was talking about that in order for Bernie Sanders to win, they needed to have 200,000 voters come out. And that suppressed the vote because they kept saying that over and over again. And Bernie Sanders almost won the state, and there was like 80,000 less people than what they said he needed to win came out. But that's kind of besides the point. It's not beside. This point being, the corporate media rigged this election for Hillary Clinton, and it demoralized a lot of Bernie Sanders supporters. And the other thing is, the corporate media wanted Bernie Sanders supporters to feel impotent, like they didn't have any power, they didn't have any control, so they just constantly just dissuaded any talking points, just completely let Hillary Clinton get away scot-free. I mean, seriously, the media didn't do its job in vetting Hillary Clinton to any freaking capacity. I mean, seriously, she literally didn't have a press conference the entire primary of 2016. The entire primary of 2016, Hillary Clinton held 0 press conferences. And the media didn't even talk about it. Not even a fucking story. Not even a fucking peep. Let her get away with it. The fucking email story. Let her get away. Well, that they kind of did. They talked about it a lot, but they still didn't bring it up. And it was just... It was just scandal after scandal after scandal. The media just let go by and by and by. And like the Wall Street speeches. So she gets paid over $225,000 to spend 45 minutes talking to Wall Street. And the corporate media doesn't think that that's relevant. Doesn't think that, she should actually release those. Doesn't pressure on it. Doesn't allow, doesn't make a story on that. That should have been a scandal in itself. Presidential candidate who says she's going to stand up to Wall Street has taken $225,000 for an hour-long speech and will not release transcripts. That's like a huge story, but the corporate media is corporate, and Hillary Clinton, very corporate friendly, so they let all of that slide. On top of that, you got the super delegates, 440 super delegates who supported Hillary Clinton before a single Democrat. And this is the Democratic Party, okay? Democratic. I think some people don't comprehend the comprehension of democracy. Like, Democratic Party, 440 super delegates, stack the deck so heavily in her favor that is nearly an insurmountable lead before a single voter gets to cast a vote. And now you have people like Howard Dean, who was one of the architects of this adjunct failure looking to run the DNC again. This stupid piece of crap shit. Howard Dean is a stupid piece of shit. Supported Hillary Clinton over Bernie Sanders. Constantly said Bernie Sanders can't win. He's a horrible candidate. I mean, he's a nice guy, but he's a joke. He's a joke. Because I work for Pfizer. And Pfizer, this healthcare industry who takes advantage of poor and sick people, well, they pay me a lot of money, so Bernie Sanders is just a crazy candidate. But I digress. But anyway, 440 superdelegates supported Hillary Clinton before a single Democrat had any chance to vote. And even like in Colorado, when Bernie Sanders won the state by 18 points, John Hickenlooper and Michael Bennett refused to listen to the voice of the people or the voters of Colorado and chose to continue backing Hillary Clinton, even though the voters of Colorado wanted Bernie Sanders. And this is also their fault. This is personally their fault. But that wasn't it. Like having 440 superdelegates, that could change, stuff can be different. But the key thing that made it so devastating and so demoralizing to Bernie Sanders supporters was the corporate media added in the superdelegate support with the dedicated delegates that were won during each primary and so on and so forth, and caucus. So even though Bernie Sanders would win a state by like huge margins, would win a state by like 68 points, Hillary Clinton would get more delegates. So but the thing is, super delegates don't even vote to the convention. So they were allocating these super delegates with Hillary Clinton before they even voted. So these weren't dedicated delegates, but they did that to demoralize Bernie Sanders supporters. So like, even if you come out, she's still going to win. She's still in the lead. She's still in the lead. She's still in the lead because she started off with 440 super delegates, and the corporate media kept adding that in beforehand to make Bernie Sanders supporters just feel like shit, like we can't win this system is rigged, and it was. But it was a way to dissuade Bernie Sanders voters from coming out. And that's just what they fucking did. And it worked. It worked to a certain degree. And the other thing is, they tried, like, they rigged it. You know what I mean? Like, they rigged the system for Hillary Clinton particularly. So you're dealing with the rigged system. You're dealing with the corporate media who tries to shut down any type of real conversation about Bernie Sanders, his ideas, his meaning, because he wasn't running for corporate interests. But Hillary Clinton was. I mean, Hillary Clinton was going to be so corporate friendly, and all the corporations were like, we need to back her, so on and so forth. Do everything you can to get her elected, because if we can get Hillary Clinton and Donald Trump elected, there's no way the voters will vote for Donald Trump. And at the end of the day, we'd probably rather crash the boats or crash the plane while we're flying than allow the people to fly the plane, because, they're people and we like our power. And now we have Donald Trump as president. All right, I'm going to make another video talking about how Hillary Clinton, after she won the primary, just pretty much told all Bernie Sanders supporters to go fuck themselves. Yay!